Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking you through how to make a rogue access point. What a rogue access point is, it's usually a clone of an existing public Wi-Fi hotspot. Such as, say your local Sainsbury's branch gave out free Wi-Fi. You could make a rogue access point called Sainsbury's iSpeed, for example, and hoping that the end user would preferably log into the Sainsbury's iSpeed server rather than the regular Sainsbury's one. Now you'd be in complete control of the access point, and at the same time as running the access point you'd be also running some man-in-the-middle software. What man-in-the-middle software does, it actually puts you in between the router and the end user, so that any data they enter on the internet, such as logins and passwords to different sites, or indeed any internet sites that they visit, you'll have a log of. Now that's what a rogue access point does. It makes an access point, usually a clone of an existing access point with a slightly different name, so that you can have complete control of the server and record any data that any user who logs into that access point does, any internet sites they go to or any logins etc that they enter. Okay, that's what a rogue access point is. Now there are many ways to make one on Linux, and especially in Kali Linux, except in the latest Kali 2018 a lot of the old methods don't seem to work without a lot of extra tweaking. It can be quite a complicated process. You have to set up the IP tables, which is the built-in software firewall for Linux. You have to set up the routing. You have to set up a fake access point, usually with Airbase NG or with host APD. Either one works. And then you have to set up some type of IP routing to give them an IP address and DNS service, as well as a working internet client on the other end. They usually use DNS mask for that, or something like ISC DHCP server, but again they do require a lot of tweaking to your existing setup to get working nowadays. Now there is a piece of software out at the moment that's a lot easier to do this, and it does give you some good options, and that's what I'm going to show you how to use today. Okay, the software is called Man-in-the-Middle IP. Okay, so if you follow me, if you type git clone github.com/man-in-the-middle IP.git. Okay, that's git clone https://github.com/xdavidhu/man-in-the-middle MITM IP.git. I will paste this link in the description below. Okay, press enter to install that. It shouldn't take a second. Okay, that's done. Now that that's done, you want to CD into the folder. CD, man in the middle, and remember capital IP. Now when you run this for the first time, it will install any dependencies that it needs off the bat. So it's nice and easy to run. So run python free, all one word, man in the middle capital IP .py, py. That's python free man in the middle IP.py. Okay. Now it'll ask you if you want to install or update any dependencies. Now you'll notice, as is the Linux format for any commands it does, if it asks you any option where you have to answer yes or no or any other answer, it sometimes has one of the answers in capitals. You'll find that when you do different apt installs, for example. If there's an answer that's in capitals, you can just press enter. That means that's the default answer, and if you press enter it'll automatically select that. So we want to select yes, so we'll just press enter. We'll let that install the dependencies. Depending on what dependencies you already have installed, this could take a while. up to 3 to 4 minutes total. This will only do this the first time you run it. After that it'll check the dependencies, find out you've already installed them all and won't need to do it again. As you can see, I've already got most of them installed, as I have already run through and checked this script works properly. Okay, now you can see it's finished and it's asking me to enter the name of my wireless interface. You will need 2 adapters for this. I should have said this at the beginning. You'll need one adapter that has internet access already, whether that's WLAN 0 or what have you, or Ethernet, your Ethernet adapter, ETH, ETH0, whatever. The other internet adapter you'll need is for the fake access point. That's one that's not connected to the internet, and that's what it's asking you for right now. That's actually going to be WLAN 1 in my case, as WLAN 0 is my internet enabled adapter. Okay, so that's WLAN 1, my adapter that's not connected to the internet, the one I'm going to be used to host my fake IP or rogue IP. Now it's asking me for my other adapter, the one that is connected to the internet. In my case that's WLAN 0. Of course you can find out any adapters you have, the names of them, by typing iwconfig before you run the program. That's iwconfig, all one word. That'll tell you all your adapters and it'll tell you which one is connected to the internet and which one isn't. Okay, the next thing it asks is, do I want to run SSL strip? You'll see the default answer is Y for yes. You do want to run SSL strip. That's a program it runs to record any data that the user who logs into your access point, any data they record whilst using the internet, such as their logins, etc. So you will want to run SSL strip. So press enter. Do you want to capture any unencrypted images with DriftNet? This is a program that captures any images that they come across on the internet while they're viewing. This can be fun, such as if they went to Google and did an image search, this would come up in your log files and show you which images they'd actually come across on the different internet pages they came across. I don't want to do this. I just want to record the different data they go to. Okay, now it'll ask you for the SSID of the IP you want to host. This is the name of your fake access point. So in the example we gave earlier with a Sainsbury's Wi-Fi internet access, we wanted to create the Sainsbury's iSpeed. I'd type Sainsbury's iSpeed here. For this example I'm just going to call it free Wi-Fi. Now you enter a channel. This will be anywhere from 1 to the 11 if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, if in the UK it's 1 to 12, sorry about that. In the US it's 1 to 11. Anywhere in Asia it's usually 1 to 13. If you're not sure exactly what your channel limits are, you could enter anything from 1 to 11 to be safe. I'll just go for 1. Now, do you want to enable WPA2 encryption? You'll notice the default is N, no. If you do enable WPA2 encryption, sorry I couldn't say that then, it'll ask you for a WPA2 password. Of course you don't really want to do this because anyone who logs into this public Wi-Fi hotspot isn't going to know the password. So you'd really use this option if you're going to do, for example, an evil twin attack. If you're cloning another access point and you know the password you want to use, then you would enter the access point name that you're trying to clone and the password here. I haven't actually tried the evil twin with this, but I presume that's what this option's for. So we want to enter no, so press enter. As you can see here, it's applied the IP table rules. That's the built-in firewall of Kali and any other Linux. It basically set up the firewall rules to redirect it to your internet connection, just in case you want to know what that does. Now it asks me if I want to set up a speed limit for the clients. I don't see the point of setting a speed limit. I'm not expecting 100 clients to actually access this, and I'm not really bothered with the speed because I've got a decent internet connection and I don't expect I'll be downloading huge files. So I'm going to enter no. You can choose whichever you want really. If you choose yes, it'll ask you the speed to input. Next, I want to use Wireshark. This can be quite an advanced option. What Wireshark does, in case you don't know, it actually records all the packet data that anyone who accesses the access point, anything they do on the internet, it'll record all them packets. It's not usually in clear text format, so it can be quite complex to read, but if you do want a greater understanding of how the internet works, or in more detail exactly what they're doing rather than just the addresses and different login information, it can be an handy tool to use or to learn from, to be example. But for this example, I'm going to put no. Do I want to capture packets to a PCAP file with T-Shark? If you select yes here, it'll actually record all the different interaction that people who access the access point, whatever they do on the internet, it'll actually record it into a PCAP file. You then have a log at that, and you can actually run that PCAP file back, replay it with the Aircrack suite, which I will be showing you how to use at a later date. It's up to you if you want to use that. For this example, we don't really need it. There will be a log file kept of all the sites they visit and the loggings they use in text format anyway. So I'm going to choose no. Do I want to spoof the DNS? No. Now, as you can see, it's starting my fake access point on the adapter that I chose. Okay, as soon as this pops up, restarting tail in 1 second, you know your access point is set up and ready to use. Now, just in case you want to know what tail actually is, tail's a Unix or Linux command that actually shows you the last 10 lines of any text output of any file you want, really. So what this is doing, it's showing you the last few lines of anything that they do on the internet. It'll show the last couple of lines updated every second, just so you can keep track of it on the screen. Your log file will actually record every line of data that every internet connection that they do, every site they visit, every login, etc. It will record it all. This will show you the last 10 lines every second, or it could be configured to show you just the last line, which it probably is. As a default, tail does show you the last 10 lines there. Okay, that's what tail does, in case you wanted to know. Okay, I'm just going to check this now. I'm going to actually log into this access point, free Wi-Fi, on my phone, so bear with me. You should see it pop up on the screen when I do it. As you can see, I am now connected. I'll just browse the internet just to show you how it works. The internet browser has now popped up. Now going to my home page. I'm not going to go any farther. As it's pretty obvious what it does from here. It records every bit of data on the internet and makes a log file. So let me just stop my internet connection here. Okay. Let me stop this. And I'll show you the log file. You stop it by pressing Ctrl and C twice. You press it once, you get this. Then you press it again twice and it'll stop. And it will restore everything back to defaults. Okay, let me just check the log files. They'll actually be in the same folder. So if I press LS, show me the folder's contents, you'll see there's a folder called logs. So let's CD into that folder. Okay, LS again, see the contents of the logs folder. This is our log file. So now if I view it in any editor I choose, such as gedit, man in the middle, you don't have to type the full name. If there's nothing else in the folder called that, you can press tab at that time and it'll fill it in for you. Okay, so gedit, MITM, and then tab. Press enter. Okay, there you can see it's made a nice neat log of everything I did on the internet. It showed my initial connection as well as the sites I visited, which was basically my home page. Puts it in a nice and easy format to read. There's a lot of other details it does. These are basically my cookie data. So as you can see, even though I only visited one site, which is my home page from my phone, it gives you a hell of a lot of information. If I had to continued browsing to different sites such as Gmail, it would have actually come up at the end Gmail and it would have gave me the login and password. If you've got a really big log file and you want to search if there are any passwords, for example, and you don't want to actually go all the way through the file, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Let me close this. Okay, whilst we're in the folder called logs, you can do this to search a text file. If you type cat and the name of the text file, MITM, and I press tab again to fill in the rest of the word, save typing it, and then if you press Shift and that key. On a UK keyboard, it's above the backslash key, just above the Windows key on my keyboard. I'm not sure why it will be on the other keyboards, but it's basically called the pipe symbol and it's a straight line down. I'm not sure where it is on other keyboards that aren't UK, as I say, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it. So you put that. What that does, it basically says run this command and then run the next command, which I'll be typing in a second, all in one command, one after the other. What cat does, it prints a file out in text format on the screen. Okay, the next thing you want to type in is grep and the word you're searching for. For example, if you were searching for a login, you could type login or user or even password. But be careful. Usually when you're searching for password, they won't actually put password, they'll put passwd or something like that. So it's usually a good idea just to search for part of the word, such as pass. Now we know on the example I just did, I didn't actually enter any password, so it won't find anything. So I'll actually put in an example that we do know I did do. For example, we know it found cookies. So if I type cookie, it will then give me every line that contains the word cookie. Okay, so that's what grep does. Grep searches a text file and it gives you every line that contains the word you put after grep. So cookie in my case. If you were looking for passwords, you'd put something like pass. Looking for login, you'd put something like login or user. Grep user, grep login, grep pass. Okay, just to go over that again. You would type cat and the name of the file you're searching. In our case it would be the log file. This one. Oops, sorry. This one. So cat and the name of the file. Then the pipe symbol, which I explained. And then grep, which is search for, and this phrase. And then it lists any lines with that phrase in it. There is a lot of lines in that file with cookie in it, as we saw. But that'll show you it all. Every line with the word cookie in it will show. They are big lines, as cookies are usually large. So that was perhaps a bad example to do, but hopefully you understood what I mean by that. If there were passwords in that file, I would have done something like grep pass, or catting the log file. Oh, there was a word pass. It's found passed. So if you for example were finding password and you had this problem, it found everything with the word pass in it, such as passed here like it did in mine, you could then basically begin limiting it like pass W. As you can see, one of my cookies actually has hide show password in it, even though I'm not actually typing a password. But that's the way you do it. Rather than looking for the whole log file, you'd only have to look through a bit of text, or quite a lot of text still sometimes, but that's how you grep through a file. It's a lot easier to handle a bit of data. If you want to put that data into a text file, you can do exactly the same command. Then you put a forward facing angle bracket after it and the name of the file you want, such as output.txt for text. Okay. Now if we look in the folder of logs, you'll see I've now got output.txt. So if I open that in gedit, this is now every word, every line should I say, out of that log file with the word pass W in it. Unfortunately, our phone works, there is a lot of cookies in there with the word password. That's why there's a lot of data, but it's still a hell of a lot smaller than the log file is. So that's a good way of finding data in a log file that's very big. It's shortened it considerably. I hope you understand that. If not, just play with it and scan the log files. I hope that helped you. Any questions, please put them in the comments below. I will be putting the git clone command that I typed as a command in the comments below for you to peruse at your leisure. Okay, thank you. Please subscribe, share or like.